It's finally Friday.
It's Friday, Friday.
Thank God it's
All right, welcome back to the Friday Show, presented by Woodbine. I'm Scott Jagow, along with Ray Pollock. We're glad you can join us. Today we're going to be talking about something we reported on a couple of times this week. That is the status of trainer Marcus Vitale in Florida. Now, on Monday, Natalie Voss reported on his licensing issues and the fact that he had appeared on the backstretch at Gulfstream Park without having a license. The following day, we were told by the Stronach Group that he was asked to leave Gulfstream Park and that he would not be allowed in the future to enter horses at any of the Stronach Group racetracks, and neither would Alan Hunter, the man who appeared as the trainer of previously trained by Marcus Vitale horses. So, before we get into this, Ray, in a galaxy far, far away, let's recall what Frank Stronach said 2 years ago. Okay, so Ray, did Frank Stronach and the Stronach Group, in the end, in this situation, live up to what they said a couple years ago?
Well, it took them a while to get to where I think they should be, and I think we really don't know the answer to that. And the proof will be in the pudding as far as how long they hold up, the decision to not let them race at their tracks. He turned his license in early this year to avoid facing a possible suspension so that he could go to another state and race. And it so happens that he went to Laurel in Maryland, which is a Stronach-owned track. They shouldn't have accepted that. They knew he was facing a suspension. And I think he played them for fools and got away with it.
But then, why was he allowed to be anywhere near Gulfstream Park or any of the Stronach Group tracks in the first place? He didn't have a license, but he was given a visitor's pass on the backstretch. Are you kidding me? I mean, look at what's going on with Tom Brady of the Patriots. He's suspended for 4 games. He's not allowed anywhere near the facility. He can't talk to any of his teammates. It's ludicrous that he was allowed anywhere near the racetrack. That's one thing. And then the fact that he took advantage of this privilege by being allowed to be there to actually, we know he was training the horses that were in the name of Alan Hunter. It's called program training, and it should be eradicated throughout the sport. We can talk about that in a second. But what do you think allowed this to happen?
Well, this is when economics and integrity go head on with each other, and usually economics steamrolls integrity. And in this case, Marcus Vitale has a lot of horses. They wanted to keep them running to get up the field size because bigger fields, more betting, more money, So, they realize that, hey, if he can keep his horses running, that's good for us, good for our economics. It's not really good for the integrity, though.
No, it's not. And in fact, this week, there's another example of this going on in Ohio with trainer Lou Pena, who, this photograph is just absolutely outrageous. The fact that, look at this, he is in the stall with a horse that's was entered in the Little Brown Jugette. There are 2 security guards standing there doing nothing about the fact that this is a guy who doesn't have a license in Ohio and is suspended in New York for over 1,000 medication violations, yet he is standing there in the stall with a horse entered in a race in Ohio.
Not only is he in the stall, he's in the stall of a horse in the detention barn. And according to reports, he's wearing a shirt with the name Lou Pena on the front. His name is on his shirt, and the security guards didn't know who he was. It's one of the biggest events in harness racing, the Little Brown Jug, and they didn't know who one of the most controversial figures in the sport is. Didn't check his license, nothing. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, and in both of these cases, it only came to light because of media. In this case, a photo appeared on social media, and in the other case, it was because we reported on it. So it's a little disturbing that they're reacting instead of being proactive.
Right.
And in my opinion, that when something like this occurs, when someone is suspended, doesn't have a license, and then uses deceptive practices to continue training when they're not supposed to, they're gone for good. Bye-bye, end of story, lifetime ban. Because you had your chance. They were, the track was giving you a chance by saying you are suspended for a finite period of time. But then you have the gall to show up and don't have a license, go into the detention barn and start injecting a horse with something. Come on, you're out of here. And same with any trainer who uses deceptive practices while on a suspension.
Yeah, in Marcus Vitale's case, his medication violations were all minor. There were therapeutic drugs that were overages. That happens. It just so happens that there were a bunch of them with him. But he didn't want to face the music under the terms of the state. And what he did in the interim, to me, was 10 times worse than the medication violations, which was to basically deceive people.
So there are rules on the books in some states regarding deceptive practices, not necessarily specific language about program training. So how do we eradicate this from the sport, Ray?
Well, I think some states have tried to deal with this, and one of the things they've said is if a trainer's on suspension, or if you're a trainer, you can't use someone else's tack or saddle towels or stall webbings. All that stuff, the tack boxes, all that stuff has to be moved out when a trainer's suspended. You can't just have it business as usual with someone else, replacing you as if you're on vacation. And that's the way most suspensions are treated in horse racing. Oh, he's on vacation. Someone else is doing all of his work for him with his equipment and all that. And the other thing that has to happen, to me, is the owners have to feel the pinch when they hire trainers that end up getting a lot of medication violations. The owners don't seem to care. They don't ask a trainer, how many violations have you had in your career? They ask him, what's your winning percentage?
Right. Well, and also the trainers who are serving as beards for fronts for these trainers should also be ashamed of themselves. I mean, in this case, Alan Hunter said, I don't want any trouble, after Tim Ritvo of the Stronach Group came to him and said, what's going on here? We know what's going on here. He's like, I don't know. I just, whatever, dude, you're gone too. And in fact, he is gone. He's also been barred from entering at Stronach Group racetracks, which is a good thing in this case. But in the end, I think it comes down to enforcement and being strict about this stuff. And hopefully we can get rid of it, because in the end, the loser is the betting public. I mean, that really is what it boils down to.
Yeah, we want Luke Skywalker and Han Solo to win. We don't want Darth Vader to win this deal.
That's right. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of the Friday Show presented by Woodbine. Let us know what you think of this issue in the comments section on our website, PollockReport.com. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.